today about the major models for AP Human Geography that you need to know for the exam and just to be successful in the class. The first one is the demographic transition model. The key things to remember for this is that there are 4 stages of transition from an agricultural subsistence economy to an industrialized economy. Demographic patterns move from extremely high birth and high death rates to low birth and low death rates. In the process, population growth rates skyrocket and then fall again. Crude death rate, CDR, first falls because of the influx of better health technology, and then the birth rate gradually falls to match the new social structure. The demographic transition model has 4 stages and possibly a number 5. Stage 1 has high crude birth rate, high crude death rate. Stage 2 has a high crude birth rate and a decreasing crude death rate. Rapid population growth still, as in stage 1. Stage 3, decreasing CBR, crude birth rate, decreasing CDR, crude death rate. We have high life expectancy and slower population growth. In stage 4, we have a plateauing of both, in which we have high life expectancy and constant or decreasing NIR, which is population growth. We do like to think that there are stage 5 societies now, such as Germany, post-industrial service-based economies. Negative population growth. There are some criticisms of DTM based on England's demographic transition. Critics do not believe all countries will pass through the same demographic transition pattern as we have seen in England. It is based on 19th century population change, which involved millions of people, not billions, as seen today. England progressed from stage 2 to stage 3 in about 100 years. Modern countries often experience more rapid demographic transition. Several Southeast Asian countries, such as Hong Kong and Malaysia, developed at a much faster rate than did the early industrialized countries on which the DTM is based. Here are the different population pyramids that are associated with the demographic transition model. As we can see with Amazon basin tribes that are still considered to be in stage 1, it is slanted. It has 2 slants for the triangle. And then for stage 2, we have a basic triangle. Stage 3, 4, and 5, which may be soon, has decreasing population. Epidemiological transition model was created by Abdel Amran in 1971. Epidemiology is the branch of medicine that deals with the incidence, distribution, and possible control of diseases and other health factors. States that with development comes health improvements. Disease vulnerability shifts in patterns similar to the DTM. Health becomes less of a factor as development increases. Chronic diseases replace infectious diseases. There are flaws, heart disease and MDCs, AIDS, HIV, in both lower developed and middle, obesity in U.S. impacting the rich. There is stage 1 through stage 5, similar to DTM. Stage 1 is the age of pestilence and famine. You have rheumatic heart disease, infections, nutritional cardiomyopathies. You have stage 2, the age of receding pandemics. Stage 3, degenerative and man-made disease, heart attacks and cancers. Stage 4, stage of delayed degenerative diseases, which is just an extension of stage 3. There is a delay because of operations, medicine, and preventative diets. Stage 5, diseases from stage 1 countries like plague and smallpox reappear. As we can see, stage 1, Afghanistan, Uganda, and Zambia is still in stage 1. Stage 2 would be Ghana, Guatemala, Iraq. Phase 3, India, Gabon, Malaysia. Stage 4, Brazil, Germany, Japan. Low to very low birth rate, very low death rate. Gravity model of migration. Uses size of location and distance as factors for travel. Size of location takes precedent over distance. The gravity model can be used to estimate traffic flows, migration between two areas, the number of people likely to use one central place. The gravity model of migration is a model that says the likelihood of migration between two locations is proportionally related to the populations of those two locations and inversely related to the distance between the two locations. Model of migration transition, aka model of mobility transition, by Wilbur Zielinski. The migration trends follow the demographic transition stages. People become increasingly mobile. As industrialization develops, people migrate from rural areas to urban areas for better wages and increase in standard of living. More international migration is seen in stage 2, as migrants search for more space and opportunities in countries in stages 3 and 4. Stage 4 countries show less emigration and more intra-regional migration. Advanced countries rely on tertiary industry, so show an increase in urban to rural migration. They don't have to live close to where you work. Stage 1, or Phase 1, little movement, almost all rural or primary jobs. Stage 2, major migration is rural to urban to secondary jobs. Stage 3, rural to urban slows, much more interurban migration and tertiary jobs. Stage 4, urban to urban displaces rural to urban as almost common type of migration, and mostly interurban and intra-urban migration. Ravenstein uses data from England to outline laws that explain patterns of migration. Migration is impacted by push and pull factors. Better economic opportunities are the chief cause for migration. Migration occurs in multiple stages rather than one move, and his assumptions applied to his time frame in context of his analysis. So Ravenstein's laws of migration from the 1880s are: most migrants only go a short distance at a time. Long distance migrations are for those who come from large cities. Most migration is from rural areas to urban areas. Most international migrants consist of young males between the ages of 20 and 45. Most migrations proceed in step-by-step processes. Each migration flow produces at least one counterflow. Females remain more migratory than males within their country. Migration increases in volume as industries develop and transportation improves. The economy is a major factor in migration. The rings of the von Thunen model. We have ring 1, which is daily and commercial gardening, easily perishable goods, located, this is ring 1, the very small. Ring 1, right outside. Early perishable goods, located too far, goods go bad, and so there's no profit. So dairy would be right around the city here. Ring 2 is forest, building, material, fuel, not perishable, but it is very heavy, so you need to have it close to the city. Ring number 3 is extensive crops and grains, not as heavy as wood, so it can be stored for longer periods of time and is therefore farther away from the city. Ring number 4 is livestock. It needs a lot of land. They are perishable once slaughtered, but animals can transport themselves, so they can be farther away as well. And beyond the rings is wilderness, too far from the city and too expensive to transport anything. So it's the agricultural land use model. The assumptions are that all areas are equally fertile, no intervening physical environment, all areas around the world are similar, and uses a bid-rent curve, or land rent, to figure out how much land will cost by calculating market value of good, cost of transportation to market, and production costs. And this is why it's called a bid-rent curve. As distance from the city center increases, cost of land goes down. The bid-rent curve.